To this story now, cable and steel theft is hurting the economy. Now, Cabinet has approved policy proposals aimed at tightening restrictions around metal sales. Ministers are in Cape Town to give details on those measures. Our reporter Heidi Giokos is here with us in studio to give us the very latest on that one. Good morning, Heidi. So what is government's more comprehensive plan around curbing theft?
Yes, I think this has been a major problem for some time. We do know that scrap metal was banned during the COVID-19 pandemic. We've seen how the rail lines have been completely stripped and vandalized because of this cable theft. So it's been an ongoing problem, and the ripple effect is a massive one. It affects our economy, the way our economy functions, especially when it comes to Transnet as well as Eskom. And government has, of course, gazetted a draft policy to regulate and look deeper into the issue around the theft of scrap metal and copper cables. And we do know that there's going to be new measures put in place. So, for example, you need to, if you're a seller of copper cables and scrap metal, you need to be regulating under an act that's going to be governed by the police. But also you need to make sure that it's not cash basis, so it's going to have to be EFT,
which allows for a paper trail.
For a paper trail, and it being electronic. So you know, you're putting a face to the person that actually bought the scrap metal, and also the seller
who sold it.
Yes, because that is the big problem here. You have thousands of these businesses that are mushrooming up everywhere, and government is, of course, really finding it difficult to control this. So we do know that the Minister of Trade and Industry, Ibrahim Patel, as well as Minister of Department of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, and the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, today briefed about what they are going to try and do to put a stop to this and to try and prevent it as much as possible. Let's listen to Minister Patel on their interventions.
Beyond the first 6 months and beyond the period thereafter, we're looking at a broader set of measures, including amendments to pertinent existing legislation, the prohibition of the use of cash in transactions involving waste and scrap, and in such a case, no buyer will be allowed to be in possession of scrap unless it's backed up by an EFT or a similar electronic record. The reason that's not done in the first 6 months is that requires legislative authority that National Treasury will secure with the appropriate changes to the legislation. The new regime attempts to strike a balance between the needs of the overall economy and society in general and particular commercial interests. But at the heart of it is there has to be decisive action against scrap, copper and metal trading that would reduce and we hope eliminate the theft of metal from public infrastructure. I want to conclude, colleague, really by just saying that we'd like to appreciate the thousands of companies and individuals and industry representatives, community organizations, members of the public who provided very constructive comment and helpful suggestions. And we will need community support, very strong community support, to stamp out these actions of criminality that are driven by organized syndicates and that causes enormous damage to the economy.
Heidi, I'm sure this is a widely welcomed move because it's honestly long overdue, although we do know criminals are very enterprising, so they could soon find loopholes somewhere of how to cheat the system. But perhaps give us context around the extent or how much it actually was taking from our economy.
Billions, Mfundo, and that's why it's really worrying, and that's why you need to see government intervening even more, not just saying that we are going to be looking at this draft policy, considering public comments. what we do understand is that one Transnet line up to November this year alone has lost over 2 billion rand. That's just for Transnet. Another worrying issue is the Limpopo Richards Bay coal line has lost over 700 million rand this year alone. And what's interesting is that Minister Patel did indicate that the damage from theft of scrap metal and copper from key infrastructure could be costing the economy 130 million rand every day.
My goodness.
So it's not just, we're not just looking at, okay, this was stolen from a specific railway line for Transnet or Eskom. We're looking at the broader impact of what it's doing to our economy every single day. And this is also why we have load shedding that's exacerbated, because you have a situation where copper is being stolen, a lot of sabotage is also taking place here, and this is impacting how Eskom functions. Now you have the police minister saying we've got more boots on the ground. They're also hiring more security to patrol these areas and make sure that they try and catch these criminals. But it seems as though the problem is far bigger than what they've imagined. What's also interesting here is that the Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, has indicated that those who are accused of theft should be charged with treason, because he says that this is far beyond just theft of copper cable and scrap metal. He says this is impacting our economy and it's basically bringing it to a halt.